Good morning. This is the sermon for October 18th, 2020. We've hit bumps in the road before, haven't we? And we've kept going. You've heard the expressions that people trot out to minimize how tough it is to move on after a difficult event. I found some of these in my search. Here's one. Strength grows in the moments when you think you can't go on, but you keep going anyway. Or how about this one? Sometimes bad things happen to put us on the road for the good things to begin. Can you see where I'm going with this? I'm already tired of the motivational things people are saying to try to encourage each other through the terrible events of the pandemic we have been suffering in the world. I went to the dentist this week, and that very nice man very gently said, "I don't see any abscess, and the old filling is still intact." I've seen quite a few people in the last 7 months who are experiencing real pain in their mouths from clenching or gritting their teeth through these difficult days. Really? Am I gritting my teeth? Trying to hang on? Trying to figure out how to pray and minister to people whose hands I am not allowed to hold? To minister to people without being able to place the host into their hands at communion. Yeah, I think I am holding on. What are you doing with your worries, your concerns, your sense of loss? Because friends, we just suffered a horrific wildfire event while 6 months into a global pandemic. If you're not stressed and concerned, you're not paying attention. So maybe we can connect a bit with the reading from Exodus this week in chapter 33, verses 12 to 23. Last week, and in previous chapters, the Hebrews mess up big time while Moses is communing with God on Mount Sinai. They make a golden calf to worship because they feel left out of God's conversations with Moses. So dumb, but predictable. They're not very used to this not being slaves thing. They're on the road to a whole new life, and they aren't prepared. Their mistake is huge. And God has a conversation with Moses, an angry one, but one that results in Moses stepping up, defending the people based on God's great love for them. And today's reading is part of that. In the aftermath of this awful thing that's happened, Moses is not sure about God's lasting care and support of the people. Poor Moses was in a place that many of us find ourselves. He was facing a future that looked incredibly difficult, and he didn't feel like he had enough facts to face it with confidence. Moses was frightened for the future, and he was asking God to fill in the gaps for him so he could face the future with less fear and more confidence. What am I saying? I think the reason so many of us are so very stressed, so concerned, and even gritting our teeth is this. We're just not sure God is going with us as we move forward through the pandemic and out the other side. Well, in Exodus, Moses pushes God, who appears still upset as God and Moses speak. God says this, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." And Moses said to him, "If your presence will not go, do not carry us up from here. For how shall it be known that I have found favor in your sight, I and your people, unless you go with us?" I think Moses is saying, if you're not going with us, God, what's the point? We're just going to struggle and fail, and you know it. Your presence is what we need. It is what makes the difference in our lives. And so I ask you, friends, do you believe God will go with you in each moment as you move through these COVID days and the ones that will follow? Do you ever worry that maybe things are too bad, too dark, Maybe God's not going with us, with you, as you move forward. Maybe it's crossed your mind, or maybe it's just crossed your emotions. But hear this one, will you? Moses loves being in God's presence so much that he asked to see God's glory right after this exchange, where he's checked in to make sure God's still part of the team. And God, tender-hearted, loving, and all-powerful, says, "Sure. See, there is a place by me where you will stand on the rock, and while my glory passes by, I will put you in a cleft of the rock, and I will cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take away my hand, and you shall see my back, and my face shall not be seen." That's love, my friends. That's how God feels about you. Think about that, won't you? The next time you're clenching your teeth or worrying, Rock of Ages, cleft for me, let me hide myself in thee. God loves you. Trust that. Amen.